Welcome to the Manifesting Doll podcast. I'm Barbara Orban from No Diet Babe. I'm a spiritual mindset coach and weight loss expert. If you are a spiritual babe wanting to up-level your life around your body, health, wellness, spirituality, law of attraction and manifestation, then this is the podcast for you. I'm here to give you the tools, teachings, and strategies to manifest the body and life of your dreams. As spiritual babes, we know to focus on love as opposed to fear. So get ready to learn how to implement spiritual teachings to weight loss, wellness, and your daily life, coming from a place of love and abundance. This is a celebration of how we can shift our inner perception of ourselves and watch our outer selves shift. You can become the best version of yourself, and I'm here to help. So let's get started. Hey babes, welcome to the Manifesting Doll podcast. I'm Barbara Orban from NoDietBabe.com, and welcome to today's episode. Today's episode, I'm going to be talking about what to do when you get off track. So what to do when you get off track with your eating or like your dieting or whatever it is. So we're going to talk about that today. And today's episode is sponsored by my 6-week course, Emerge. And just to let you guys know that currently I'm offering early bird pricing. And the early bird pricing, which actually has been extended, but it's most definitely going to close by the time this podcast is uploaded. It'll be less than 48 hours to go, you guys. So the other thing is, so a little bit about this course. So go check it out. The details, the full details are at nodietbabe.com/emerge. But if you're wanting just kind of like the gist of it, of what's included, this is actually different to the other times I've offered Emerge. So what you're going to get is the pre-work, which is the 3-day course that the Emerge used to be. Then there's new content, which is pre-recorded. It's 6 modules, including homework, cheat sheets, and worksheets. But this round, I'm also offering, so in the previous 2 rounds, I've offered Zoom calls. And basically what this is, it's kind of like a group coaching environment where you can come to the session live and get laser coaching. So that means you're basically going to get me in my energy, similar to one-on-one coaching, but in a group style. And it's pretty much who shows up kind of gets that time with me. And yeah, so a group of you will be doing this and showing up weekly live Zoom calls. So you get supported in that way. But I've also added something extra to this round, which I haven't offered in previous rounds, and I might not offer it again. But I absolutely love Voxer coaching, which is like a walkie-talkie app. And I'm going to be offering that for 6 weeks, group Voxer coaching from Monday to Friday. So what that means is you're going to get laser coaching around specific questions that you have and problems that come up during your journey of weight loss manifestation. So it's 6 weeks of group coaching support in addition to the course. So this is an amazing, amazing opportunity, you guys, that I've never offered before, because I've only ever offered either courses or group coaching separately. But I just want to provide this additional level of support. So go check it out, you guys, nodietbabe.com/emerge. Anyway, back to today's episode. So what to do when you get off track. Now, here's the thing. I've been working with a one-on-one client at the moment, which, by the way, there is another spot available. It's still available. If you want, reach out to me via DM on Instagram. That's probably the best way. Or just email hello@nodietbabe.com. So basically, you guys, this is a problem that comes up with all my clients, all my group coaching, private clients, all my course students. It's this getting off track, and how once we get off track, it tends to turn into not just one day, but a few days or a few weeks or a few months of essentially gaining weight and not feeling in line with our goals and not feeling good in our body. So like, for example, you tell me, what's your definition of getting off track? Like for me, getting off track means that I start to become aware of the fact that I've been overindulging, right? I become aware of the fact that I don't feel my best. Perhaps my energy levels go down. I feel sluggish. I can tell that I've been overeating and that it's affecting my weight. These are the kind of things that I notice. But when I was like a chronic low carb, low calorie dieter, things happened much quickly because I wasn't choosing sustainable diet plans. And I also had this all or nothing mentality around food. And what I noticed with the most affected with the dieting mentality is that when they get off track, they freaking freak out, and then they continue. They're instead of staying in that positive expectation of when you're on track, you start to shift into negative expectation, and then your momentum has shifted, right? Your momentum shifts from weight loss to weight gain usually. And because now you're experiencing so many negative emotions, and you've kind of turned you've slowed down the train of like positive expectation, and now you're going the other direction, right? And you just allow the momentum to snowball in that direction rather than taking care of your energy by maintaining awareness and consciousness of what's going on in your inner world, and then tweaking things and redirecting back to stay on track kind of thing. So it's really just about maintaining awareness of your emotions, and then just putting yourself back on track mentally, right? And then your actions will follow. So here's the way that I do that, okay? Because like I like the Abraham Hicks method of thinking a thought that makes you feel better, right? Around food and weight. That's what I have always done, and that always works for me. So it helps me maintain alignment around food and weight. So what I pretty much do is I maintain awareness of what's currently going on, what thoughts and beliefs I'm telling myself, and what meaning I'm placing on my actions, and whether or not I'm like labeling myself. So typically what I notice is when people get off track, the energy shifts from calm to frantic. It's like anxiety, frantic, let me undo what I've done, let me fix this. But that undo kind of mentality, let me undo the overeating, undo the indulging, to a certain extent can work if the energy around it is okay. But most of the time, when you've taken this to a point where you're really off track, you're not going to get instant gratification. You're not going to like you might have a desire to let me just fast, or let me just cut out carbohydrates so I feel better tomorrow. You know what I mean? You're wanting to feel better instantly. And my approach is that when I do that, I tend to stay in the yo-yo. So yes, I will most likely feel better a day or two later or a week later if I'm like aiming to just drop the water weight or whatever it is, to just kind of have some sort of instant gratification. But long term, I end up staying in that cycle of fluctuating, and the extremes of that all or nothing approach, where then a few days later I'm like back to square one, or a couple of weeks later I'm back to square one and I'm feeling like bloated or like sluggish because I've overeaten again. And if you're in that cycle, I want you to realize, yes, there is a level of action required, okay, around quote unquote dieting, I want to say. I like to say it's kind of like more intuitive dieting. What I teach my clients is more like dieting without the dieting mindset and intuitive dieting. Like it's just a different energy, right, to what you used to. But one of the things that I need you to understand is that for the rest of your life, you are going to get off track around food and weight. And I think that the more you allow that to happen and learn to maintain emotional stability whilst this happens, the more stable your weight and food situation will actually become. So what I'm trying to say is that the problem that you're experiencing is that you're expecting perfection. You're expecting yourself not to get off track, quote unquote, off track. Your idea of what it looks like to maintain the body that you want or get to the body that you're wanting. You're expecting that you're just going to follow some meal plan or follow some method or strategy to lose weight, and that you're not going to veer from that at all. And the moment you veer from it, it means that you failed. That is the problem. First of all, is that mentality, because literally what you need to come to the understanding is that for the rest of your life, you're going to mess up in every aspect of life. Like you're going to mess things up. You're going to make mistakes in life, and that's okay. And the understanding that it doesn't mean that you failed. It doesn't mean that you give up. It doesn't mean that you throw in the towel. You just learn to manage your emotions around it and you keep going. Okay? So nothing is ever like completely broken. Like I know the ego wants to say that it's all like it's not working now, or like I may as well give up. I think like a lot of people operating from ego don't want to take action and don't want to put in effort unless they are guaranteed success, because then they look foolish for having tried or believing that it's possible or whatever. But that is actually the low level thinking that keeps you stuck where you are. The people who succeed are the ones who aren't afraid to make mistakes. Okay, so this is key part of your learning to succeed at weight loss as well. Like success mindset doesn't just apply to business and money or anything else. Like it applies to relationships and it applies to weight. It applies to every aspect where you're not afraid to put yourself out there and be open and vulnerable and allow yourself to make mistakes or like look foolish, as you might be thinking, like quote unquote foolish, like your what your ego is kind of seeing as a threat or seeing as dangerous, like I shouldn't put in effort to lose weight or take action because if I fail, I look foolish type of thing, which is a lot of the reason why a lot of you resist having a weight loss goal in the first place. Okay, so or getting even started on something. So what you first of all want to do when you get off track is kind of just go, this is normal and it's completely a part of being a human being and that it's okay. Like don't label it and let the ego come in with its thoughts of like, you're always going to struggle with this. Like watch for the type of thoughts that catastrophize, like always and never, and all of this dramatic thinking. Whereas the reality is it doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing or who you are or what your past has been. You can always change things. It doesn't matter if you gain 100 pounds from this moment onwards, you can still always come back from that. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you go $100,000 in debt, you can still always come back from that. Like it's that mentality of fear that this means I'm always, like you label yourself as this is like, I'm this stupid human being that's gotten myself into this position, and this is who I am, and I can never change this type of thing. But that's actually what you need to expand out of. Like, you have to realize that it doesn't matter where you are now. Like, as in, you have to acknowledge where you are now and accept where you are now and tune into and connect to where you are now. But you have to know that you can shift. You have to believe that, right? Because your ego, and I'm speaking about myself now too, like, my ego says that too. It's just that I don't allow it to it's not that I don't allow it to take over, because like, even with the mindset stuff, you will get off track. It's the knowing that you can just forgive yourself and go and just like try again. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't hold on to the mistake and just sit there and hold on to the drama around it, and then just stay in that, right? You kind of just forgive yourself and you move on. Okay. So that's pretty much, okay. So what you need to do around food and weight is kind of just go, okay, so this is where I'm at. I'm really grateful that in this moment, I'm practicing awareness and I'm being conscious of what's going on. So resist that kind of like frantic fixing stuff of, okay, so let me go straight into strategy now. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to cut out carbs. I'm going to go to the gym and blah, 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 blah. Like, that's strategy is part of it, yes. But I just need you to shift the energy first. So kind of go, okay, am I approaching this from like fixing and franticness? And let me just calm down and let me just view myself with a lens of the following: forgiveness, compassion, self-love, and observing from a non-judgmental energy. And I need you to reflect on why you're in a position where you got off track. Now, depending on how crazy you're off track, like it all depends. Like, if you've been off track for months and you've gained a bunch of weight, you're going to have to reflect on yourself from a different, like, you're going to have to be like, hang on a second, what's going on here? Why have I been avoiding my life so much? Like, why have I been switching off and turning to food? What is going on? From a place of love and compassion, like, clearly you're not getting some of your needs met emotionally. That's not something to feel bad about. It's something to observe from a loving energy, like, hey, like, this is how I would do it. Like, hey babe, like, what's going on here? Are you okay? Like, I really care about you, so I just want to know like what you need. This is kind of like how you would talk to yourself, like, what do you need, babe? Like, I'm here for you. I'm sorry that I've like been trying to push you away or avoid how you feel, and I know that you need me right now. Like, you need me to connect to you even though you feel bad, rather than trying to deny what's actually going on. This is kind of like how I would have the self-talk, because this like self-talk helps me reconnect to myself. Okay, so your main goal when you get off track is to reconnect to yourself. Most of the time it's learning to feel your emotions again, okay? Because when you get off track, and I do this too, it's avoidance. It's avoidance. You're avoiding, okay? And a lot of the time we avoid because we have negative emotion associated with that thing. And the other thing is that we're programmed to move away from pain and towards pleasure. And for me, I know that I'm just moving towards food as pleasure, okay? So when you get off track, first of all, forgive yourself. Number two, expect to go off track. Now, like I said previously, if you've been off track for months and months and months and you've completely gained a whole bunch of weight, your approach is going to be require a little bit more compassion and love and really looking at what's going on emotionally in your life right now. And on the other hand, when it's just a little bit of a slip up here and there, you need to really get real and know that that's actually part of being a human being, and you can't possibly expect yourself to always be perfect around food and to never lose control and to never have days where you overeat. On the other hand, you don't want to be completely mindless and go, oh, Barbara said it's all normal, so let me just allow this to happen all the time. It's not like that either, because when you're completely just allowing yourself to it's kind of like just allowing that inaction. It's all about balance, you guys. It's all about balance. And this is exactly why, having that level of support with me, like my one-on-one client at the moment, she's gone from binge eating to losing weight. And the reason why that's happened so quickly in a matter of 8 weeks is because of the level of support she's got with me. I'm able to coach her around that nice sweet spot. To me, it's exactly what they talk about with being on the exact frequency. It's there's a frequency. It's you can't get a radio station to work if you get the numbers wrong, right? You have to tune into that sweet spot, that number, and then you're on the frequency. And that's really what I do through my courses and my coaching, is teach you how to get on that frequency. Because trust me, I'm very conscious around it, and I can see that the frequency that a lot of you emit around food and weight isn't on par. It's not where it needs to be. And it's not as extreme as you think it is, but it's also not about completely letting go either. There's a sweet spot in between, okay? So anyway, you guys, I hope that was helpful in getting on track. So I'll just summarize it kind of again. It's the main thing is that you have to forgive yourself and realize that it's normal and it's part of being a human being. And by doing that, you lessen some of the resistance that you're feeling around having gone off track. Because at the end of the day, it's okay. And you want to strive to feel better, okay? And know that it's completely normal. And actually, in my dieting experience, it's expected to be off track. And what I teach my private clients is how to actually predict when you're going to be off track. So this is advanced dieting techniques of Barbara Orban. But I teach my one-on-one clients how to predict when they're going to go off track and actually plan for it and what to do in a strategic way to help with that. But anyway, you guys, I need you to be a little bit more forgiving around the way you eat when you're dieting, because I think it's when you're dieting and when you're on track, what I notice is that you don't allow any mistakes. And then on the other hand, that leads you to get exhausted with the dieting process and then go on the other end and completely let go around food. So the key here is to realize that it's going to be expected that you get off track, and that by continuing to stick in the energy of leaning into the energy of positive expectation, you're able to veer yourself on track rather than making the off track, quote unquote, off track mean that you've completely screwed up, you've failed, you're never going to get to your weight loss goal, and you're just completely throwing the towel. Okay, so that's the gist of today's episode. Hopefully that helped you today. Let me know if that was helpful via Instagram at NoDietBabe. And I love you guys, and make sure you check out Emerge, because I know how deeply that can help you if you feel called to it. And the website, the webpage for that is nodietbabe.com/emerge. Okay, love you guys. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you loved this episode, I'd love for you to leave me an iTunes review. Don't forget to follow this podcast for more uplifting teachings to come. For more tips, inspiration, and teachings, come follow me on Instagram at nodietbabe, or check out my website, nodietbabe.com. Until I see you next time, babes, lots of love.